Once King Pharaoh entered his room to meet his wife Asia and said, "Asia, your wise friend and my enemy, the way the children of Israel are becoming more and more disobedient to me day by day, I am no longer able to bear it. Now my decision is that I will not allow them to exist in the land of Egypt. I will completely exterminate them." Hearing Pharaoh's words, wife Asia did not remain silent, but said in a very slow and gentle voice, "My husband, do not exterminate them, but drive them out of Egypt. Why will you bring bad name to the world by such unnecessary cruel behavior?" Hearing Pharaoh's words, Pharaoh said in an angry voice, "Asia, what do you mean? I will not treat my fierce enemies as they deserve, but will give them a soft treatment, and they will leave Egypt without hindrance and spread my bad name abroad." Hearing Pharaoh's words, wife Asia said, "Why will they spread bad name? If they could leave this country with some kind of life and dignity, they would find some comfort somewhere else. Whether they could find sustenance or not, that would be enough for them. Then they would naturally be absorbed in their respective duties. Where is their leisure to bring you into disrepute, and what would be their gain from that?" This answer given by Bibi Asia did not please or satisfy Pharaoh at all. It seemed to him that he felt the deep and hidden longing of Bibi Asia for the children of Israel, and that it revealed her considerable indifference towards him. So Pharaoh's state of mind instantly took on a terrible shape. He became very angry with Bibi Asia and said to her, "Then it appears that you are so obsessed with the life of your people that for the sake of their safety, I do not see any need to even look at the past. Well, protect your relatives and friends. From today on, I will punish them 100,000 times more severely than the punishment I had planned for them." Suddenly, seeing her husband in such a fiery and angry state, Asia was surprised and said to him in a calm voice, "Husband, I will not pay attention to your past, but what should I pay attention to? The duty of a chaste woman is only to wish for the welfare and well-being of her husband, and that is why I have presented this prayer to you today." Asia said this in a very soft voice. But Pharaoh's anger and ferocity were at their peak, so he did not pay attention to Asia's words. He just said, "Leave it. Don't do all this nonsense. You may not have known me at all until now. Now I will give you a chance to know me." Saying this, Pharaoh immediately left Bibi Asia's room. Bibi Asia knew her husband's mood and nature very well. Even then, he did not recognize him yet. But she did not get angry or annoyed with her husband because of that. Nor did she pray to Allah for him. A storm of sorrow swept over her heart. There was not even the slightest hint of happiness or peace in her heart, and her husband Pharaoh was the only one responsible for this. Yet, the image of patience, Asiya, did not break down. Rather, she raised her hands and prayed to the Lord, "O Lord of the worlds, change the nature of my husband. By the virtue of your infinite mercy, bring him to your mercy." Meanwhile, Pharaoh ordered his guards to further increase the level of torture against Asia's relatives and friends. As a result, the level of torture against them increased day by day. Several days after this incident, one day Asia was sitting on the couch in her room, combing her hair. There was no peace in her mind. Her husband's religious practices, his unbearable torture of her, and his inhuman cruelty towards the innocent, unfortunate children of Israel had poisoned her mind. So, while combing her hair, the comb suddenly fell from her hand. She picked it up saying, "Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim." Meanwhile, Pharaoh entered Asia's room at this moment to rest. His mental state had not been very good for the past few days. He felt some kind of bad omen around him. He was more worried about what was happening. The moment he entered Asia's room, his heart burned like fire upon hearing the words mentioned in Asia's mouth. Pharaoh said, "Asia, what are you still saying? You have to be amazed at your courage. At a time when every person in Egypt acknowledges me as Allah, establishes my idol in every house, and worships me as Allah, then you, being my own wife, are disrespecting me like this, and pronouncing the name of the invisible God. There is no greater crime than this. I warn you again, if this name is ever heard from your lips in the future, you will never be able to imagine the severe punishment you will have to face." As he scolded Asia, her eyes turned red and her whole body started shaking with anger. Hearing such words from her husband, Asiya raised her tear-stained eyes and looked at her husband's face and began to say bravely inwardly, "O my beloved husband, believe me, I love and respect you the most in the world. I have placed you in a place in my heart that no one else has the right to. But still, I must tell the truth that there is a place deep in my heart that is above everything. In that place, he always resides, who is more worthy of my devotion and respect than you. He is my Lord, he is your Lord, and the Lord of the whole world. He is the Creator, Protector, Lord, the master of life and death. He is the emperor of all the emperors of the world, and the Lord of all the lords. At his signal, the moon and the sun rise and fall in the sky. At his signal, day and night appear and disappear. At his signal, the ebb and flow of the sea and rivers occur. By his grace, all the creatures in the world eat, drink, enjoy, and find comfort and happiness. Again, by his signal, they experience sorrow, unrest, and death. He is the Almighty, the unique Allah. Pharaoh entered his wife's room to have a pleasant conversation with her for a while, to ease the current unrest in his mind a little. But instead, hearing these unwanted advices from Asiya's mouth, his inner turmoil increased 100-fold. He didn't wait a moment longer and left, clenching his fists in anger. As he was leaving, he said, "Are you giving me advice? I see you've exceeded your limit of courage. Well, wait, I'll be having fun soon. You'll understand how dire the consequences of this dare are." Pharaoh left the chamber of Asiya in such an angry manner and went straight to the courtroom. He went to the courtroom and sent all the courtiers out and sat down with Haman alone in the council. "Pharaoh, since Haman is exceeding the limits of Begum, I cannot bear it any longer. I will punish her severely. Tell me, which type of punishment will bring the best results?" Hearing Pharaoh's words, Haman said, "I am not in favor of punishing Begum Jahapana. She is not really guilty. Her foster son Musa, peace be upon him, has made her disobey you with all the trouble she is causing. Or it is heard that now Begum Sahib is talking about the formless Allah in your presence. Such an incident had never happened before Musa came to your house." Hearing Haman's words, Pharaoh said, "The vizier has spoken the truth. Today, Begum sat in front of me and advised me to accept her submission to Allah. What could be more wicked than this?" Then Haman said, "This is the result of the evil advice and instigation of Moses, peace be upon him. The wife is not guilty of this. She is a helpless woman. She protects Moses' advice because she loves Moses more than her own life. And on this occasion, Moses, peace be upon him, has attracted him to that invisible God to make him hate you. Therefore, it is not Begum who needs to be punished." This argument of Haman was very pleasing to the king, and Moses, peace be upon him, decided to punish him severely for this, and his anger towards his wife was greatly reduced. However, his visits to the Begum decreased a lot compared to before, the incident that took place a few days later. Once Pharaoh took Begum Asia for a trip to a flower garden on the banks of the Nile River. There he started various stories and rumors with the Begum. But no matter how many stories Pharaoh told, the same thought always remained in the mind of Bibi Ashia. How she would rescue her husband from his error and bring him back to the path of salvation. She kept thinking about it. While traveling, both of their eyes fell on a new marsh in the Nile River. Then Ashia said to her husband, "My dear, look, a new marsh has been created in the river. It is just a pile of sand. So far no trees or grass have grown there. Well, do you have the power to create a tree or grass there without sowing any seeds? Of course not. It is not possible for any human being. However, if the Supreme Lord, the creator of the world, wants, he can produce any type of tree, bush, or seed in that marsh, because he is the source of infinite power, the Almighty." Think about it. This is why no human being should proclaim himself as Allah. Allah is the only one who is capable of creating everything in all conditions. Then Asiya drew Pharaoh's attention to a small worm and said again, "My lord, can you create a living being like this small worm, or can you bring it back to life if it dies? Surely that is not possible for you. Yet how can you accept the claim that you are the God of all?" Hearing this irrelevant statement of Bibi Asiya, Pharaoh's head instantly became hot. His pleasure trip turned out to be a lie. He could not tolerate such words from Asiya. In an instant, he got annoyed and left the amusement park in anger. No words came out of his mouth due to the excess of anger. However, he was even more angry with Musa than with Begum. He promised in his heart, no more words, no more forgiveness. This time he would destroy all hopes, desires, fame, and glory. If after destroying, it was seen that Asiya had not yet come on the way, then he would send Asiya away from the earth too. Asiya was upset, and understanding the attitude of Pharaoh, Musa, peace be upon him, went to him and told him to be careful. Hearing Asiya's words, Musa said, "I will run away. I am not such a coward. I am for justice. If necessary, I will stand firmly on the truth and fight against injustice. Still, I will not run away. You bless me. No matter what difficult calamity befalls me, I will give my heart to him like a hero. Whatever is written in fate will happen. That is why I will care. I am not such a timid son of yours. Amma, I will not leave you and go anywhere else. Hearing this, Atia said, "Father, your words are heroic, but there is no intelligence in it. Never trust a creature like a snake. However, you must always keep yourself safe from it. Otherwise, when danger arises, you must accept my order and leave the kingdom of Egypt. Remember, cruel tyrants do not accept justice and injustice. They can do whatever they want. Just as you will not be able to protect me by standing against them, you will not be able to protect yourself from danger either." Asia said again, "I do not think about myself at all. I am only worried about you day and night. The reason for this is that if I leave the world, there will be no harm in it. It will not harm anyone. Rather, even if thousands of women like me are destroyed, the people of the world will not benefit from it. But even a little harm cannot be allowed to happen to you. I have understood well, from various signs, that Allah has sent you to this world to fulfill a great and noble duty. But your duty has not yet been completed. Therefore, it is not possible for you to die voluntarily. It is a crime for you to sacrifice yourself. Therefore I say, you leave this place right now and go somewhere else, and spread the word of the Creator to the human society. I bless the merciful Allah that you will succeed in fulfilling this duty. Do not even think about me that much. With the strength that the merciful Lord has given me, no matter how severe the punishment the king gives me, I will accept it with a smile. I do not care about death. If the merciful Lord grants me the ability to remain faithful until the last moment." Then Hazrat Musa Asya did not object to the order of Asya. After praying and bidding farewell to Mother Asya, he left the royal palace in the darkness of the night. Bibi Asya gave him some gold coins and said, "My son, these are your provisions and foreign assets. Accept them." Mother Asya took this last gift with great enthusiasm. Bibi Asya bid farewell to Musa, peace be upon him, and watched him go on his way for a while with wandering eyes, and finally let out a long, heart-wrenching sigh, and said to Allah, "O Lord, I have surrendered your servants to your hands without relatives or friends. Please make all arrangements for them."